Hello, everyone. My name is Mrs. Capps, and I teach 7th grade ELA at Mojave Middle School. I regret that we're not in person having our open house like we usually do, but this will have to do. This is a very short PowerPoint that explains to you a little bit about what we do in 7th grade ELA. And if you have any questions for me when you are done watching, please don't hesitate to send me an email to my SUSD email address. It's acaps@susd.org. So let's see here. So this is an overview of 7th grade. Our curriculum is novel-based, and we do a lot of writing in my class. A tentative list of novels is included in this presentation. I say tentative because with right now we're in distance learning, we will be back in school, and my list of novels that will be available to me will change. Students have a writing notebook right now that they are using in class. They're using it currently. I don't know if you've seen it. Hopefully you have. And they are keeping it at home, but they will be expected to bring that with them when, not if, we return to in-person learning. So here's some systems and procedures for you, just very basic. Homework and class activities are posted in Google Classroom, along with important updates and information. I posted a notebook update today, like what your students should have in their notebook, and correction for a couple classes where I have posted the wrong thing. So they need to make sure if they see something come into the stream from Google Classroom from me that they do read it. Grades are posted in Synergy, but I use a 1-point system in Google Classroom that represents that your student did submit that assignment. If I don't do it that way, I'm entering grades in Google Classroom and then again in Synergy. So Google Classroom represents a submission grade. Synergy represents the actual grade, where I sit down and I review the work. Late work is accepted for up to 2 weeks past the due date for a 10% penalty. And Mrs. Schwartz, the other 7th grade teacher, and I are on the same page with that late policy. Just trying to get my screen to go to the next one. There we go. Okay, so in Q1, this is what we're doing. I keep having to move my picture around. In Q1, our Unit 1 novel is called Insignificant Events in the Life of a Cactus by Dusty Bowling, and she is from Arizona. She lives in Cave Creek, and the novel is set in Arizona, which makes it kind of interesting for the students, I think. If you are wondering about the meaning of that curious title, Insignificant Events in the Life of a Cactus, please ask your student. They should be able to tell you. They should be able to go to the part in the book that discusses that. And you know what, if they don't know, maybe they need to go back and look and see if they can kind of find that. The assessment for this quarter is something called a personal narrative, which is basically a personal story where they will write about a choice or a challenge that they've had, the consequences of that event, and a reflection on that event. I do it every year. It's pretty fun to read those. Okay, standards covered in Q1. And there I'm in my little head again. Students will learn to cite evidence from their reading to support their ideas and learn to make inferences from the text. They need to know how to do that for me, and they need to know how to do that when we bring AZ Merit back, and they need to know how to do that if they plan on going on into college. Students will also analyze how particular elements of a story or drama interact, such as how the setting affects the characters or the plot. Students will study the meaning of words and phrases as they're used in a text, and students will also learn all about figurative language and the difference between connotation and denotation, which is the dictionary definition of a word. Students will also study grammar and learn to write with using grade-appropriate conventions such as capitalization, punctuation, and spelling. And in order to write a narrative, students will learn about plot, point of view, characterization, setting, and writing dialogue. It's fun. It's a bunch of fun stuff that we get to do. Okay, quarter two and beyond. Book selections are somewhat tentative, as I explained, due to distance learning versus in-person teaching. Planned texts, though, include The Outsiders, which that's pretty much a for sure thing. Ghost Boys, Nothing But the Truth, which is a play that we usually read aloud. The Thing About Jellyfish, Tangerine, 12 Angry Men, another play that we read aloud, and Twelfth Night. In quarter two and beyond, students will learn to craft a written argument and support it with research. They'll learn to read, analyze, and write original poetry. They will learn to write an effective literary analysis, and they will also perform an original monologue. Those are always kind of fun. A little bit about me. I am a previous SUSD parent. Our daughter and 3 sons all graduated from Chaparral in the last decade or so. I majored in English literature at the University of Kansas, and I obtained my master's in secondary education from Grand Canyon University. This is my 6th year at Mojave, and I have been married for 28 years. My husband and I, we live out in Fountain Hills, and we have 2 grandkids and 2 dogs. So that's a little bit about me. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me again at acaps@susd.org. I usually answer pretty quickly. I can't wait to meet some of you in person and meet your kids in person. I'm learning names, I'm learning faces, and this year, for the first time ever, I'm learning voices first. I know who the kids are by the sound of their voice. Have a lovely day, evening, whenever you're watching this, and here we go, 2020.